Testing, testing, testing. Testing. Oh, there is a long delay. Okay, so that works. How does that aspect ratio? Is it better if I make it the other monitor? I'll keep this monitor. This monitor's better. Okay, for the 12 of you that are watching, welcome to the Bay-masteR webinar. We will be holding a couple of these more for the remainder of the summer. Um, this is the Bay-masteR web program. Oh, one second. This is the Bay-masteR web program. This way it gives you the full control over your shop, same as the old program, but there's a few minor improvements, most notably speed and security. There's no more Windows updates that are going to knock out something that is web-based as opposed to local app-based. That's one of the benefits of the Bay-masteR web. Another additional feature of the Bay-masteR web base is any device that can access the internet will be able to access it. This includes any Mac computer, any Apples, any and all phones that can access the internet, particularly the Chrome web browser and the Opera web browser. This will allow you to show your customers tickets, as well as if you're home, you're able to check your shop, check your schedule, check in with anything, even if you're not directly in the office right away. If there's any questions, on the bottom right of this video or directly below if you're on a mobile device, there is a live chat. You may have to select live chat instead of top comments. You may have to select either live or all comments depending on the version of the YouTube app or browser that you are using. That being said, anything you type down here, I am monitoring that and I will be able to answer that if you have any questions at all with that. Stepping right ahead, we're going to show that creating a ticket has never been easier. All you have to do is you can click here to create a ticket, or you can select here to create a cash sale. Previously there was an extra step there. Now you can do that right away, whichever type of ticket you need from the invoice. From here, as usual, you can go to the search screen, and here you can type in, say you were to type my name, you can see it's not in the system. However, we're going to use one of our existing customers, Kathy Drake. You just type in the Drake and it searches instantly. It's a lot quicker than the older method because all the server load is on program load is on our servers as opposed to yours. It's a lot quicker than you are used to, and that way it'll pull it up right away. From there, we're just going to click on Kathy Drake. And here we have the existing vehicle for a 2005 Ford Crown Victoria we're just going to use. So we're going to go here, and we're going to hit Create Ticket. Here we have the estimate summary screen with a few minor changes to what you're used to. For most notably, ticket numbers are up here to be a little more visible. And at any point, you can hit this back button to return to your home screen, to your front desk. For here, we're just going to show you real quick just an LOF job to demonstrate the new SpeedyCat. We can go here to LOF, and we can see our standard oil change jobs. As always, you are able to customize these and add as many or as few oil change jobs as your shop feels fit. So here we can go say $29.95, select there, and save. And that'll create the job, and that goes through SpeedyCat. Now this is the new SpeedyCat. It does load a little faster, but at its core it is the same program. Here it'll show you all of the filters and any availability of those filters, as well as the oil filters and air filters for this job. You can have it select air filter, fuel filter, oil filter, or other parts that you want to be searched with an oil change job. Here we're just going to select an oil filter. We're just going to select this one, that's the this oil filter specifically, scroll to the bottom, and select Summarize. Now that'll add that to the, we're just going to hit Save, sorry. And from here, what that'll show is it's going to now show you, as you may be familiar with, the motor quick specs, which will show you the oil specs recommended by the program, as well as the oil type and quantity. So here, we'll see here, it's recommending 5W20. So we're just going to go in, and we're going to select the 520 synthetic blend. And here it'll show you if you want to round it to the nearest number, which will be 6, charge actual, round up, or here would be the liter amount. So we're just going to go and we're going to charge for 6 quarts. And here you can see because our job was quoted at 5, it will charge the additional. Now this is pretty standard to the standard oil change jobs in the base program, and that way you'll be able to see any differences that you may experience. For here, you can either add more lines, change your labor line, change anything here. You can also change any quotes from this quotes section up here, as some of you are aware of. And we can hit this ticket button to return to the existing ticket. For those of us that just joined us, this is the Bay-masteR webinar, and there is a live chat in the bottom right corner if you have any particular questions specifically. For here, we're back to the estimate summary screen, and you can see it broken down to parts, labor, surcharges, any discounts, and sales tax. And here, the new adjustment screen, that will show you the, it looks very similar to the other one. Tax is more apparent here if you need to change the tax rate for specific tickets for one reason or another, as well as discounts and surcharges are displayed here. For example, here we have a discount for a teacher discount automatically applied, as well as a surcharge for environmental fee, labor surcharge, and part surcharge. And as always, at any point you can untoggle any of those by selecting that check mark and selecting Save. Another option we have in the Bay-masteR web-based program is from the Make Payment section. You can select adjustments as well to pull up any specific discounts or adjustments you would like to apply at the last minute of the ticket while they're paying. You can cancel by selecting X or save by selecting Save before taking any payment. Does anyone have any questions on that feature particularly? Okay. Going forward, we have the standard repair option. Now if you need any subjobs from this column, all you have to do is select the arrows next to your standard repair option, and that will pull up any subjobs or even any subjobs of those to pull up your specific oil change jobs that way. Previously there were checkboxes. This will make it a little quicker to go through, and now it's a lot more responsive in the list to pull up jobs quickly. This also includes the ability to integrate your tire distributor. Now this does reload a little faster in this version as opposed to the web-based program, and this way you can check any tire information and any fitment information for the specific cars you need, as well as your tire distributor. And here you can sell from stock or special order, same as you could in the previous program. Another good feature that some of you are aware of, say you need to get a quote on a job and you need to get it approved, you can send a text message, say all group totals, and you can say we opted not to do the tires, or you can choose just the total, and you can hit reply and accept for your approval. So that is my work phone, and I did just get a reply to that, and here we can reply accept. And now, slightly later in the video, when we show the next step, you'll be able to see that we replied to that. A good benefit of that is this way you will always have a record of when that repair was done over here on the left. That way, you always have written approval for your invoices via that text message. Does anyone have any questions on that specifically? Okay, moving forward. Here we have, going back to the front desk, we have the schedule column. Now this, some of you may be aware of, some of you may be unfamiliar with this. This is the improved scheduler. Here we have the set jobs in our bays. You can add as many or as little bays as you need. So you can even have one for, say, the alignment rack as well as your bays. Here we can go and we can drag, say, this 1.5 hour one. It's not going to fit in this half an hour time slot. It will move the additional time slot here to be lower in the invoice, thus making room for the repair and shifting things around. You can also lock these and set committed time so that they wouldn't be able to be moved if you needed to, as well as you can add a note to the schedule by dragging over here. So you need this. You can add mark bay unavailable, and you can add a note for, say, bay in waiting. You can have that be as short or as long as you want. That way you can know that the bay needs to be used there and you need a note, or you could even put that alongside an invoice if you need to see a specific note for a specific part in the schedule. Is there any questions on the scheduler? Okay, moving forward. As you can see down here, there is a color code for what the jobs are. That way it'll be a little easier for you guys to see in the morning when you check your schedule. Dark blue is in progress, white is not started, light blue is finished, orange is paid, and anything red would be a problem. Gray, the only other color are the gray. Those are for notes and just bay unavailable messages. You can also, like I was showing before, you can add to schedule, and here we could add a ticket. Say we were going to add another Drake, so we were going to add Kathy Drake to the ticket again. We could say just create, and you can put that straight onto the invoice. You can do any repair there. Say we'll do an LOF again. And again, for those of us that have joined us since then, this is the new Speedy Cat. This is the new Speedy Cat, and that way we can see any kind of oil filter, air filter, and fuel filter here. Again, we're just going to select it same as we did before, just the one oil filter, and we're just going to save, and that'll be on the invoice. And you can see on the schedule that that is now created at that time slot we committed. Another viewer just pointed out that from the text alert, we have the unread texts, and here we can select, and you can see the Kathy Drake ticket sent a message, and that's that 082 for I accept for the information before when we're getting that approval. And at any point, we are able to search the history as well. And this way you'll be able to see any customers in history as well as any repairs they did. Here I just clicked on this one here, but you can go back and you can see anything that way, track them. You can even copy the job from history if you need to. Returning to that Kathy Drake ticket we just created, another good feature is that we can go and we have the 33-point inspection form. Now this is improved from the previous program. It's a little easier to follow now. Here you can just check it off here, say we know it's ABS, we know it's rear wheel drive, and we know it's manual, for example. And here you can choose as many or as little as you want. Say there's no noises, there's no shimmy, the alignment could use a service, the wiper blades are very worn and you need to replace them. And you can select any other information you need here, say the hoses are good, any check marks you're looking for. And when you print that, that'll generate a nice 33-point inspection form that you can print and hand straight to the customer, or if you are on a tablet or a phone, you can bring out and show to the customer right away, saving the paper and making your shop look very technologically advanced. From here, you're able to show your company information, the customer name, the date, the invoice number, and like I said, you can hand this to the customer. You can have it signed by a technician, and that would be all you would need there. And you can just exit out on top to clear that out. And here you can save that, and you can even have it pulled up on upcoming tickets. You can have the mechanics check that before they do another repair. Does anyone have any questions on the 33-point inspection? Okay. Once again, there is a chat in the bottom right of the screen. I do see three more of you changed during this. There's a chat either below or to the left of the invoice, depending on the version of your YouTube app or website. At any point, you can ask me any questions about the web-based program to see anything you have any comments or questions on. Another feature, you're able to email a PDF or a JPEG of any invoice you send. You can send a copy of it with any message you decide here. And that'll be an image of the invoice, and you can select multiple emails if they have multiples, or you can type in, say, my professional email here, and you can have it attach any message, and that'll send right to their email. And we can integrate any email provider you have with us as long as you're able to receive the ports for that email itself. So here we're going to cancel that. Like I said, it's good to be able to send messages and get approval via email and text. Texting is a little more secure due to the fact that on the previous invoices you can receive approval and have a time and date stamp of that approval. Does anyone have any questions on that? Okay. Moving forward. We also have the ability to add the Bay-masteR oil change stickers. The screen's a little different than you are used to. However, here we have any information you can choose here if you want it to be every 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, or the recommended vehicle cycle. You can also toggle if you want your company name or not to print with the invoice. We do have current specials going out with the LOF printers. If you do not own a sticker printer, we are able to provide them. And here you can have it if you want the recommendations to print out as well as any custom message you want on those stickers to print. Going back to the front desk, we have a question on the scheduler. We do have the ability to create, to name the bays. For example, you have Bay 2. If you want that to be specific for, say, Bay 1 is assigned to Jake or Technician 12, and Bay, you can have that, and then you could have Bay 2 assigned to Technician Joe, Bay 15, that'll be assigned there, and then if you had a third bay, you could have that either as overflow or the alignment bay. So I'll just make that just say align, and when you go back, now when you see that schedule, you're able to see these bays that way. Another interesting feature there, especially if you're viewing day by week, day by day or by week, is you can set it up for individual bays to have certain hours. For example, you can have a lunch preference where that specific technician is assigned a lunch at a certain hour. That way you always have someone in the shop. For example, you could have Joe take a lunch every day at 11 and Jake have a lunch every day at, say, 1. That way you'd make sure they have half-an-hour lunches. There won't be any overlap. You can also here change committed time for when you have your bays open. For example, if you're closed Saturdays and Sundays, when you're open, you can say you're open 7 to 7, and that'll have that specific day have extended hours. No problem. Another feature which is similar to that is we have the new time card feature, which some of you are aware of and some of you are already using. This is a good time if you guys have any questions or comments on the new time card feature. You can have it so you can check in to say Technician Ed if he has any jobs assigned to him. For example, we're going to go assign that Kathy Drake ticket to that Ed. Here we can go and take this belts and cooling job from before on this pre-made ticket. We can assign both of these repairs to Ed and have him be the primary technician on the ticket. Now Ed is assigned to both of these invoices. So we're going to go back to the ticket and back to the front desk. Now if we go to this time card feature, we can have any recent jobs and any newer tickets apply under Ed, where we'll be able to have those jobs made. I believe it is tickets after the time card feature is set up for this mechanic. Due to how it was made, it did not apply, but you are able to punch mechanics into individual time, and that way once they sign in using either their phone, tablet, or computer, they can simply punch in and get paid, and you can see their actual hours, their work hours, and their total hours, and you can compare that to the hours billed for the customer to get more accurate profit analysis of your shop. Does anyone have any questions on the time card feature specifically? Okay, moving forward. It does seem like there are a few more of you. If you have any specific parts of the program you have any questions on, we do have a chat in the bottom left as if you're on the browser, or below if you are on a phone or a tablet, depending on the version of your device. So for here, we have the new web-based program as I was showing before. We did go over a brief demonstration of how it has what it has. Another good benefit of the program is now when you go to look at your sales history or your end of day reports, if you choose not to print them, you can simply select any of these and you can say this summary. You can simply preview it and have it apply in your browser instead of having to waste the paper and print it if you're just looking at it quickly. That is a feature several people requested going forward in the past, and that is something that I find is a very good feature for this version. At any point, you can view anything as a PDF file in browser, saving yourself the time and paper to go and print out the invoice itself. The end of day reports are all the same. Everything you were looking for with reports still remain the same in the program. Returning to the program, we have the technician screen. This screen, for those that are unfamiliar with it, at any point you can add technicians here for labor tracking. Here, as I was showing before, we had the technician Ed. You can add any technician here. For example, before I was saying technician 12, mechanic, and you can have it say 12 Jake, or however you assign your technicians. And that way you can have their cost. You can include their cost here if you need to bill them out. That way you can more accurately track for cost reporting. And you can also have the screen locked if you choose to, as well as any other counting screens. That way only you or people with a supervisor level password would have access to. Is there any questions on technicians specifically? Okay, moving forward. And again, if anyone is interested in the web-based program, I'd be more than happy to get you on a trial for it, or if you are on the cloud, set you up directly with it after this call. We would be able to have it up and running by the end of the week, most likely by tomorrow. Just shoot an email to jbs@bay-master.com or simply reply to any of the 3 webinar emails that were sent out. That way we can have you set up with that program. At this point, we are going to go over the start of the webinar, including from the point of the oil change. For those that are new, if there are any questions or if you'd like to remain to see that again, you're more than welcome. We are going to go over that again, though, as we did gain and lose a lot of subscribers. There are 6 unique subscribers to this. So going forward, this is the front desk of the program. This Here, as always, you can always pull up the Quick Start Assistant on the left for any questions you have on the program. But for now, we're going to go back to any of these jobs. Here are your existing jobs, same as they were in the program. As always, you can sort these however you decide, for if you want to sort them by any of these columns above. Here we're going to create a new ticket, which the Create Ticket option is new, where you can select here if you have a cash sale specifically. That way it saves you the time and energy to click through to a different menu. That is now a single option. Here we're going to go to Create Ticket. And here, if you were to look up any name that's not there, you'd have the option for it to not, if it didn't pull up, you'd have the option to add it as a new customer. And you'd be able to put in that information there. Alternatively, if it is a customer you do have, for example, we have Kathy Drake and her 2005 Crown Victoria, we're just going to hit Create Ticket. From here, this is the estimate summary screen. You'll notice it does look very similar to the previous program. There are a few minor changes, such as the ticket number being above and everything being just a little more obvious how to click. It's a little more intuitive. For here, we're going to go to LOF, and we're going to select $29.95. And when I select that, that's going to automatically pull up any parts I have being selected on the ticket. For example, by default, it's going to, for this job, we have it set to look up air filter, fuel filter, and oil filters. At any point, you can toggle any of these. For example, we have this one filter. This part supplier has 109 of in stock. We can select here. We'll select 9 of the fuel filter, and we'll select one of the fuel filter that they have 9 of, and one of the air filter they have 5 of. And we'll simply select Save or Save in Order. Save will add it to the ticket, waiting for you to order it going forward, whereas Save in Order will order it from that vendor at that time. For here, it'll show you, as usual, the motor specifications. For example, these oil specs, which is it recommends 6.2 quarts for 5.7 liters, or 5.7 liters, and what type it recommends. So it recommends the 520. We're going to select here, and we're going to you can have the option to round up, charge actual, or go by liters. We're going to charge the actual. We're going to charge the 6 quarts, which is the round down. And here you can see it'll show because we have it set to only charge for 5 quarts, it will charge the 1 additional quart. Here we have the standard oil filter, as well as anything else you pull up with it. And it'll show the prices of that SpeedyCat inventory as well as the part numbers. Are there any questions on that? Okay. And now if we go to that ticket, we'll see here, we'll be able to see how much that would be billed for. Now going into here, we can select General Labor, and we're just going to show the SpeedyCat Labor. So here we can see our suppliers by hovering over this supplier category. For example, we're going to use our SpeedyCat. Now this can be any vendor you have. We can integrate with all of the major vendors, AutoValue, O'Reilly's, AutoZone, even Pep Boys. Here we're going to go here, and we can look up SpeedyCat jobs. Oops, sorry. Here we're going to go to SpeedyCat for description search. We're just going to select a belt. And here you have the belts shown here. We'll also pull up a serpentine belt. And here you can see one on the inventory. We'll use one from stock. We're also going to select labor, which will pull up how much time it would take to do that repair. And this way you're able to track an accurate cost of how much that's going to be. For example, it'll be 0.5 hours for standard, 6 for an extreme repair, and 0.2 for warranty. So we're just going to select standard, and it will highlight whichever one you need to use. I'm just going to toggle that to R&R, that serpentine belt. And we are, like I said, going to have one of these pulled through as well. And here we're going to save it, and that will add both the labor and the belt to the invoice. Does anyone have any questions on SpeedyCat labor? Again, for those of you that are either new or unaware of it, there is a chat box below the chat or to the bottom right of the chat for any comments or questions you may have. I'm more than happy to help with any questions you may have on the program. Nothing's too simple or too complicated. I'm happy to help with any questions you may have. Okay. Moving forward, we're going back to that ticket. Now if you have a service writer, you can select any of your service writers that exist in the system. For example, we'll just select Mike, and that way if you have a service writer report, you can see how much jobs they're bringing in and what exactly they're doing with it. You can have any specific notes here, as well as any printing notes you'd like the customer to see. For example, load note. You're able to go here, and you can pull up any notes you have pre-written in the system. You're also able to have any internal notes that will not print with the ticket that are for your own record keeping or for your mechanic's own record keeping. And you can also track tread depth and brake pad depth, tread depth, and the PSI of the tires. And you can pull that through for the next time the vehicle comes in, and you can build recommendations based on that. SpeedyCat uses motor for the customer that was asking. We can integrate, we do integrate with AllData, Identifix, and motor though. If you have any information on any of those, you can purchase motor through us, and if you have an Identifix or an AllData account, we'd be more than happy to help integrate that into your system as soon as possible. That way you're able to quickly pull up labor times any way you need through your invoice. When you do have them that way, you would go from, say, your general work category, and you'd go to catalogs, and here you could pull up your AllData, Identifix, or motor catalogs here. Again, I was replying to a comment on that chat box to the left of the screen. As I was saying before, if anyone has any questions on that, feel free to ask any questions or any comments on to the bottom right of your screen, or the middle center or middle left, depending on your Android depending on the device you're using. It should be either directly below or to the bottom right are the usual spots. Okay, moving forward. Once you have your invoice set, you can check it through a preview, and this is what it would appear as when you email the customer. And this would be how you would print. And if you have any custom forms, we can use those in the program as well. We can help integrate any logos or anything you have in the program there. Alternatively, if you want to print just a technician work list, which does not show the pricing, but it will show the individual jobs that the mechanics can check off as they do for longer jobs, and any oil change stickers we can print here as shown before. And then when you are set, we can select texting, and as shown before, we can just go here, and we can say all group totals, and we can set an estimate of the pricing. So here you see the $80 job and the $113 job. You can have the totals here, and you can just send that out with a hit reply and type accept for approval. You are able to comment on these, which hits send. Now there was a question Danny had in the chat again, to the bottom right or to the bottom center of your page. You can go into general work, and if you go here to quotes, here you can change the general work to anything you need. So we'll change the description to belt R and R. And now when you save that, that will be the title of that belt. We can then select back to the ticket, and you can see that the title I changed that to became belt R and R. Do you have any additional questions on the quote section of the screen? Anyone's welcome to ask. That is specifically for Danny, though, for response to his question. Okay, going forward, we're going to go here now, and I'm just going to go over the scheduler again. And here, as I was showing before, if you have an invoice that is not set, you can set a committed time, at which point the ticket will be locked there. And if it is not locked and you have a repair you're trying to get in and you need to fit it, it will move the invoices to allow, it will allow it to fit in that slot, and that way it'll be able to properly bill your day. Now, as I was showing before, if it is committed, it will prevent that from moving that job. That way, if you have someone with a set time or a waiter, you can have that set to committed so they can't be bumped back. Otherwise, it'll make it so you can easily assign your day and your technicians for whoever has any questions or any time you need. Is there any questions on that part of the program? Okay, moving forward. Here, we can go back here. Unfortunately, no, there's not a way to print out the schedule. I don't believe if I try to print this page. If you print the page, you can print it in black and white, provided you're using Google Chrome. It will try to print it as a PDF, as shown here. At any point, you can hit Control P. It does seem like that is losing its color coding when you do that, but that being said, there is a possibility to print it that way. And obviously, if you change it from portrait to a landscape, it'll be more familiar to how you're used to seeing a schedule. This will resize based on the image. That is browser specific. I believe Edge will try to load it in properly, but I do know it does work on Chrome and I believe Firefox as well, with how they handle images and web pages printing. Also, as Joe was saying in the chat, printing the schedule will be something that is added going forward. Should be the end of this week. Does anyone else have any questions on that? You are able to ask any questions again. There is a chat box on the bottom left. If for some reason someone is unable to type into the chat, they can also email any questions at the jbs@bay-master.com. One second. And that way they are able to reply that way. One second. For those of you that do not have a Gmail account or the ability to chat in the webinar, you can also reply to jbs@bay-master.com or reply to the sales email that you received before, and that will allow it to go to my email, and I will see those chats and any questions as well. Alternatively, as I was saying before, there is a chat in the bottom left if you have any questions. For Josue, I believe that's you, Josue Solano. I'm not sure if that's what, I think that's almost positive who that is. We are able to launch this program as soon as you want. If you'd like, we can get you set up on a trial for it for a month. We can set you up as soon as after this video ends if you have time, as well as any time earlier this week. One second. And that way, if you have any, you can get a trial with it as well. We are also offering a version that if you do not have stable internet, we can have it run with your local network. That way, computers on your local network, as long as your local network stays stable, you will have access to the program. That will only work on your local network. For example, things on your devices on your Wi-Fi and will not work outside of your network. Generally, we have not had a lot of issues with internet outages, at least in our area. So our servers will always be there. If you do have an ISP that is particularly prone to outages, though, there is the local version of the ASP that you can use alongside your existing program. It is a little more secure, though, to go and use the version that is stored on our end. That way, if there's ever any emergencies or anything, we have your backups, and you don't have to worry about any network setups. We handle all of that on our end. Did that answer both your questions? Both Josue with when it's available, which we can do as soon as possible, and Danny explaining that there is the version that runs local. Okay, moving forward, one second. I received another of the email questions. I did receive an email question on availability of the program, as I previously stated. That will be available as soon as possible. And that way, if you have any questions or want to get on a trial for it, we can set that up as soon as possible. In regards to Chad, your question, yes, that will be available. One second. Okay, one second. Is there any additional questions with the webinar in regards to that? Okay, hold on one second. To Alejandra, correct, that is true. And then to Danny, I love the names. Another thing with the web version is because it does work on phones, provided you have a good phone carrier, those I have had very few opportunities where I have not had access to my phone's internet. In the case of emergency, you are able to tether your phone to your computer or simply access the device off of your phone or any tablet that has internet. For example, I use Verizon. Even when we had a state of emergency where I didn't have power for 2 weeks a couple years ago, I still had my access to my cellular network, and I would have been able to access the program from there. For the local version, you will be required, for any local version of Bay-masteR, you do need to back up your data. Whereas the web-based version, all of that backup is done by us. You never have to worry about backups or backing up your data. We'll take care of all of that. If there ever is an emergency where your system is down, we're able to get you up and running very quickly, where you have minimal downtime, and that way you're just, if a computer goes, you're still ready to go. You don't have to worry about it. Any device, you'll be able to access from there temporarily, and then you'd be able to put it on any computer you need. Um, Going forward, I'm going to run through the demo quickly because there's 2 new people. I'm going to hit Create Ticket. I'm just going to go and create Kathy Drake. Here we can go there and select the vehicle, as I was showing before. A good alternative for that, Alejandro, depending on your shop, I think your Chad's Automotive, which should be using the cloud, we can have it where you can use the cloud, which is similar to the old program, as well as the ASP temporarily, if you're already on the cloud, while I show you that. And for Danny's message, it is still 1 account per 1 user at an active time. For example, if you have 2 computers accessing at the same time, it would need 2 different session logins. For example, the O1 and the O2 that most accounts have now. Oh, I'm sorry, Alex. Yeah, okay. 1 second. A good opportunity for you, Chad, would be we do have a live version of the Bay-masteR web, which I will be sending out directly after this webinar. I'll make sure you get a copy of that. We have a trial version of the program that you're able to use, so you can get a feel for that before you go with the web-based. Um, what that is, it's the same thing as this. It's just the demo data, and you can make whatever tickets you want on that. It won't be the same as your data currently. However, you'll be able to get a feel for it and play with that while you get used to it. And then once you're comfortable with that, we can migrate your data to the web-based. I'm not 100% sure your question, Alex. Currently, you have Bay-masteR multi-user. You would be using similar. Using a similar session where if you go Bay-masteR, when you go Bay-masteR web, it would be an O1 and O2 account and an O3 account. And instead of having a centralized server, we would sort of be your server in that instance. At which point, we would have you wouldn't have to worry about networking, but you'd still have a different user for each computer being used. Um, as for Danny, you can see here the cloud is very similar to the web-based program. The main draw point of the web-based program is that you can access it from any device, including iPads, Apple computers, and tablets, as well as it's just a little more protected against Windows updates. And like I said before, we do have, like I said, that trial version you'd be able to try using. It's not going to be your data, it's just a set of data you can get used to. And then once you're accustomed to that, we're able to transfer your data strictly to the web. Like I said, there should be an email of it from 2 weeks ago, and we are going to send another email out with that demo data directly after this webinar. Just something to try it out and get used to it. One second. I received a question um, on specifically for phone numbers and adding phone numbers to the system. At any point, you have these 5 numbers you can use here. For example, work, cell, fax, and alt. You are able to write a couple additional characters if you wanted to write a note alongside that, such as you were saying on the email itself. I received one for phone 2, husband, wife. You'd be able to write wife here, or Sasha if for some reason you have multiple numbers for the same customer and you want to signify them. You can put that information there to show information that way. And that way you're able to write it at the end of that message or the beginning of that message. Cell number is unable to have any kind of information like that, but the other number slots, if you just want to keep it on the record, that would be a good place to put there. I'm not sure how much labor lines you need exactly, but you are able to add multiple labor lines. For example, so we go to this ticket. Here you could add several labor lines, where if you need to, you can have Joe, for example, this mechanic. You can have multiple labor lines there, and that's the same as it is in the current program. Did that answer your question, Alex? As for Danny, you are able to add dashes as you want as you type the number in. I'm not completely sure what your question is. Okay, we do have an additional 5 minutes for this. I'm going to leave this open for any questions. Again, you can reply to the email you received the web link from, or jbs@bay-master.com with any questions, and there's a chat below the video or to the bottom right of the video with any questions. Are there any, okay, one second. Okay, looking at the chat. Alex, we are able to view this video again later. Simply saving, this will be on our channel, which if you look at the bottom left center of the page where it says Bay-master Estimator, that is our channel. You can save that, subscribe to that, add that however you want. Alternatively, the link you use to access this video will become a viewing link to set this up later. That way you're able to see it as a 1-hour video. I do have to make some minor changes before I make that a live video. Just there is a couple minutes of testing to make sure the feed worked in the beginning. I do want to cut out before I keep it saved as a video. But simply that link you use to get to this video will save. If for some reason you don't have that link tomorrow or you need it sent to you in the office, just email in. Again, replying to the email or jbs@bay-master.com, and I'll be able to send you that link myself. Is there any additional questions with the program? Either by emailing back to the email sending you the email or the chat towards the bottom or bottom right of the program. I received a question on primary techs on the ticket. That would be the new jobs created would apply to that. And at any point you are able to change a tech on a labor line. Down here, say you wanted Ed to not be the tech, you could go and select Joe here, and that would apply it. Now that did not prompt me that it was Joe. Alternatively, if Joe was not the tech and I was changing it to Ed, it would give me the option to make Joe the primary technician, or Ed the primary technician. Okay, it is 9 p.m. If anyone has any additional questions with this, or if they would like to get set up on the ASP version, on the web-based version, you're able to email back to the email you just responded to, and we can get you on a trial where you can try it out, and we can get your data over. We would be able to get that done as soon as possible, and then alternatively, we are going to send out a link with a demo account that you can play around with that will not be tied to your data, that you'll have access to. That email will be titled Try Bay-master on the web, and that's just like a demo data you can try and play around with. Okay, I will be bringing this video to a close. As I was saying before, anyone who would like to get set up on the web-based program, feel free to send me an email, as well as any additional questions. You can just reply to that email or send an email to jbs at bay-master.com, and I'll answer them right away. Thank you, and have a wonderful day. Look forward to working with you both. More than happy to help. Like I said, always happy that you guys took the time out of your day to join us. It does mean a lot. Have a wonderful day. Bye.